The OST is one of the most underrated aspects of anything. Movies, shows, anime, and video games, all of these involve OSTs. And when done well, a good OST can make a scene sound 100 times better. OSTs make a scene more dramatic and emotional, but when done wrong, an OST can really ruin a scene. Nowadays, it's really rare to see an emotional scene without an OST, and that's just because it's just an easy way to add more emotion to a scene. When it comes to High School DxD, they have a really good OST selection. I'm gonna get hit with the nastiest copyright claim for this video, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Oh yeah, this video was recommended to me by one of my viewers, so thank you for that. The High School DxD OST selection really is something special. They almost always have some type of banger playing in the background no matter the context. They were in their bag throughout this entire series when it came to OSTs. One of the best things about it all is that they have a new soundtrack for every single season. You'll still occasionally hear some older OSTs from a previous season, but if they do, it's going to be one of their popular ones or one of the ones that they made specifically for a character. They have a wide variety of different OSTs in High School DxD, and because of this, they're pretty much able to convey almost every type of emotion to the viewer, and it all just makes every scene feel so much more dramatic for the better. For example, let's look at one of my favorite scenes in the anime.
Someone better than me should have made it out of that nightmare.
The night has peaked. It happens when the thoughts and wishes of the user oppose nature, when they go against the natural course of things in this world. The sacred treasure peaks, or as it is also known, the balance breaker.
This scene is one of my favorites for many reasons, but a big reason is because of the OST they're playing in the background. That plus Kiba's voice acting just makes this scene so emotional, and in my opinion, the most emotional scene in the anime. The whole thing just fits so perfectly for this scene. The OST just matches the little holy theme that the kids have in Kiba's backstory. It all just works perfectly for Kiba's character specifically. This OST wouldn't work for any other character or any other scene, and I think that's one of the best things about DxD OSTs. They have a few OSTs that you specifically associate with certain characters. You can tell they just put so much effort into making these OSTs fit the characters in the scene. This OST wouldn't work for Akano, Rias' OST wouldn't work for Kiba, and honestly, I don't think Akano's OST would work for Rias. Another reason why this OST feels so special to me is because it's the only time we hear it. They have another version without the vocals, and I think it's also really good and one of the best, but this one in particular is so good because I associate it with Kiba. This is Kiba's OST, which again is something DxD does so good as a whole. The OSTs all sound unique. Very rarely will you find an OST that sounds the same, and if you do, it's going to be used in the same context. Like I said with Kiba, the other version without the voices is used for Kiba's backstory, so it's all still used in that same context. Like they're not going to reuse the OST they used for Kiba's backstory when explaining Konoko's backstory, which is something I really appreciate. So because of all of this, I associate this OST with Kiba, and this isn't the only case of this. I'm pretty sure we all associate this OST with Rias. This OST is Rias. It only works for Rias and it perfectly matches her. I mean, this one just sounds beautiful, and I think this is most people's favorite OST, for good reason too. It sounds amazing again. A thing they do really good with this OST is they play it exclusively for Rias. This OST just sounds so unique, so every time you hear it, you think about Rias. These OSTs also make these characters easier to take seriously. This OST for Rias and the other one for Kiba make it known that these are some important characters, because they give the important characters the unique sounding OSTs. It all just matches so well. It's really impressive how much work and effort they put into making these OSTs. OSTs really don't get talked about enough, so I really wanted to talk about this. Akano also has a really good OST. This one feels a little less like Akeno because it is used a few times when Akeno's not there, but every time you hear it, you'll still think about Akeno. This is one of the better sounding OSTs in my opinion. I really enjoyed listening to this OST when it came on. There were moments where I would solely focus on the OST because it was just so catchy. And like I said earlier, when I hear it, I think about Akeno. I mean, it doesn't have the same effect as Rias, but it still sounds amazing and it's unique again. And every time you hear this OST, you know something crazy is about to happen. High School DxD does a really good job when it comes to making OSTs that we associate with specific characters. But that's really only the surface of how good the OSTs are. It's not just the individual characters that have amazing OSTs. Let's look at everyone's favorite scene in the anime.
Who are you?
I, who shall awaken.
No matter the occasion, you always choose the path to ruin.
I shall drown you in the depths of crimson purgatory. Juggernaut Drive.
The Juggernaut Drive scene is something special. I'm pretty sure I'll make a video specifically for this scene, but that won't be for a little while. So first of all, when a scene starts off with silence, that usually means they're about to come up with a banger OST. But the way the OST comes in just makes this scene so much better. It's really hard to explain how much better that OST makes this scene. It fits so perfectly, kind of like with the character OSTs I was talking about earlier. It all just fits well. It's pretty much impossible to imagine a different OST on this scene. The way the OST slowly builds up matches perfectly with how the Juggernaut Drive scene slowly builds up, and then right when he goes Juggernaut, the music begins to pick up. Just imagine this scene without any music. It might sound good at first, but then it'll just end up becoming awkward. This OST is able to make the character reactions to Issei going berserk seem way more dramatic, and it also makes Issei going berserk feel more special. It really gives you chills. Just a complete banger. And since we're on the topic of bangers, check this one out.
Way to go, kid. That took balls. All right, then. It's time to finish this raiding game, so charge at me with all you've got. Here comes the bang!
Supersonic Booster!
Why are my legs shaking? This is just the beginning. No way. I'll enjoy this battle to the fullest.
Issei vs Sour Org was a really good fight for so many reasons, and the OST is one of the bigger reasons. I mean, this is the perfect OST for this fight. It gets the viewer so hyped. It's nice and fast, it's catchy, and like I said in a previous video, it sounds like Yusei Run from My Hero Academia, so that's kind of cool. It's also played at a good moment when Issei unlocks his Cardinal Crimson promotion, and then it also lines up perfectly throughout the fight. It's faster and more hype when they're actually fighting, but when the fight takes a break with Sour Org, so does the OST. It slows down a lot. Just beautifully executed. A good fight overall, but the OST just made it that much better. But when it comes to making fights better, no OST in High School DxD comes close to this one.
I can fight. A pawn of Rias Grimmery never gives up. Stop it! We'll fight. I will keep my promise. Nothing can make me stop or back down. Bastard! Die! Riser, please stop! Let him go!
I resign, okay? I resign. Please just let him go.
I don't think I can put into words how good this OST is. First of all, this whole entire scene with Riser and Issei is great. Riser is beating the hell out of Issei, and as a viewer, you kind of start getting this feeling that Issei isn't about to win this fight. But while Riser's kicking Issei's ass, the OST is just slowly building up, and as the OST builds up, so does the viewer's suspension. Because there's no way they would make the main character lose in a fight with this much on the line, right? Rias resigns from the fight. Literally the last thing I expected from this fight. But one of the reasons this whole scene is so dramatic is because of that OST playing. They're playing it loud as hell, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is the loudest we ever hear an OST played. But the placement is perfect. Rias resigns and then boom. What a perfectly executed scene and a perfect OST placement. And this OST alone just gives me chills. When it comes to just execution of the OST, this scene is for sure the best. One of my favorite OSTs that they play is the opening arrange. I'm pretty sure they only play it 2 times in the anime, anime, both in season 2. The first time was after the Kokobell fight. Kiba was giving Rias his like vows or whatever, and then this OST starts playing and it makes the scene a lot better and more dramatic, and kind of to a different level, almost like an emotional level. I don't know what's wrong with this OST, but this one in particular kind of just speaks to me. But the other time to use it is a lot better.
You said everything right. You say sweet things like that. And what's a girl to do?
Come on, I wasn't trying to make you cry, okay? I bet I'm up for a foot and mouth award about now. Yeah, I should probably stop babbling. Forget I said any-
I mean, just another example of the OST making the scene much more emotional. But this use of the OST is much better than the last. First of all, it fits the scene a lot better. I mean, the OST gives off more of like a melodramatic vibe, so this scene of Akeno crying works perfectly for the OST. This is actually one of the few scenes that I think the anime did better than the light novel. And the biggest reason for that is the OST. So let me give a little more context to why. It goes back to the last time you hear it. In the last scene with Kiba, you hear it and you kind of automatically recognize it because it's the same as the anime opening from the first season. Because you already recognize it, it sticks out more than all the other OSTs. You pretty much already know the whole thing, and that's why it works so well with the Akeno clip. It plays for like 20 seconds and it does this little build up, and right before it drops, it just cuts off. Just beautifully executed again. And it's not just emotional OSTs that they're good with, they're good at doing random OSTs that just play in the background. I'll probably have one of them playing for the rest of the video. There are so many good OSTs for the other scenes, it's just too many to talk about though. Those are all the OSTs I wanted to talk about. I wish I could have talked about them a little more, but I didn't want this video to be too long. High School DxD really has a nice bag of OSTs. If season 5 does ever come, I really hope they live up to the other seasons when it comes to their OSTs. I think my next video is going to be about High School DxD in general. It's just going to be talking about what I think they do good. It won't be super in-depth because I have a lot of topics that I want to cover, so I guess you can look forward to that. Again, thank you to the person that recommended this video idea. I don't write scripts for my outros, so I kind of forgot your name. Sorry about that. Liam Gerst. I just realized I didn't talk about my least favorite, so I'll say my least favorite is this one right here. And whatever I just played there probably sounds whack and wasn't used in the anime. I'm not sure what it is yet, but my editing self will know. But yeah, thanks for the video suggestion. If any of you have any suggestions, I will gladly take them. If I think I can make a video out of them, then I'll for sure do them. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.